Hello, I'm Jonathan Milam, here talking trumpets, or more actually, talking trumpet mouthpieces. Yesterday I did a YouTube vid on a JetTone original Ratzenberger. It was the Studio Model B, and I have got the Symphony Model C here today. In fact, I got them both at the same time. I bought a vintage horn from a wonderful guy in the Houston area. It was a old special. This was sometime back, several months ago, probably a year and a half or more, maybe 2 years. At any rate, he had just a world of mouthpieces in the case. And there were a couple that I just put aside right away because they were not my cup of tea, so to speak. But at any rate, we did the video yesterday on the Studio Model B, and we also have on top here, we've got the Symphony Model C. Now, I've got these mouthpieces at about the same angle, and I know it doesn't look like it, but the reason they appear different is the Studio is a much shallower cup. So you can see that it enters the throat quite a bit earlier, shallower than you get in the Symphony model. And my understanding is that when Mr. Ratzenberger made the Symphony, it was actually a dig at people that were insulting him for not having deeper cupped mouthpieces. He was going for a certain sound, commercial, lead type, and he certainly achieved that. These mouthpieces are really interesting. When I got them, I was playing about a 10.5 C size mouthpiece. Actually, the Marcinkiewicz shoe 1.5 is what I was playing most of the time, 1.75 part of the time. Very, very close to a 10.5 C size. And these are probably closer to the diameter of a Bach 3C, so I really was not able to do much with them. And they are so different in the way that they're built that even if you use that diameter, it'll probably take you a little acclimation period. But each of these really render an excellent commercial sound. Okay, as I mentioned yesterday, I was doing some knitting. That's a joke. This is actually my daughter's knitting needle. But what you can't see about these horns, and when you take pictures of a mouthpiece, if you take pictures straight on, you really get very little perception. You can see just a little shadow in here. But if you ever take a picture of a mouthpiece, if you're interested in selling it or conveying information, I think the best thing to do is to put it at an angle, and that way you can do better. Lighting on silver is really tough. I prefer natural lighting, but my camera will not work with even natural sunlight, just blows it out. But at any rate, I wish I could convey just how these cups were made. Both of them, they go in, it feels like almost straight from the rim of the mouthpiece for a very brief period of time. 3/16, 2/16, that's what it feels like. And then they kind of bowl out, but then they open into a very large throat. And yesterday when I was talking about the Studio mouthpiece, I said it's almost like a dual cup. Well, it's really not, because it doesn't have the cup on it, but the throat is so pronounced on these. It's very interesting. I compared it visually, tried to a Reeves 42C. I've got a 41. That was actually a 42. The Reeves actually has a larger backbore. It's a 26, and these are probably a 28, possibly a 27, but I suspect a 28, which was the norm for Ratzenberger's mouthpieces. So strangely enough, the Reeves piece, which is definitely considered commercial, even the C, I think, is 2 drill sizes larger, because the smaller the drill size, the larger the hole it produces. So the Reeves C is considerably larger backbore than these. The throat on these enter quickly, or I'd bottom out on them. I don't bottom out on either of these. I play with more pressure than I should, but just very, very interesting pieces. Very, very interesting pieces. I'll try and give you a sound of what the Symphony sounds like, and it does not sound like a symphonic horn. You probably would not want to play it if you were playing in a symphony or a local orchestra. You know, I was thinking Arturo Sandoval. he could play whatever he wants when he goes to playing a symphony. But most of us would not get away with what this produces. And I'll try and play both of them for just a second, but they do get an excellent commercial sound. In fact, the more I've played with them, I've had to fiddle around with them a few days to try and acclimate my lip to them, because the way they're made, it's just not the usual bowl or V shape that you get in a lot of mouthpieces. It does exact a toll on your lips, but once you get used to it, very, very nice carrying sound, but very trumpet-like, not shrill. It's not the hollowed out dime that I talked about yesterday. But anyway, this is what the Symphony Model C sounds like. And the difference between the B and the C, I've got a Studio B and a Symphony Model C. That's the way that the rim rolls, the curvature to the rim. Okay, give me just a second to get used to this, get a tone out, and then we'll try and just play a little number for you. Okay, that is the JetTone. That is the Symphony Model C, and a nice, slightly, definitely a little bit warmer sound than the Studio, which you'd expect. Studio, even though the Symphony is not really made for the Symphony, it is definitely a slightly deeper cup than the Studio. All right, and that is the Studio there. Two great mouthpieces, original JetTone Ratzenbergers, and again we have got the Symphony C and the Studio B. Hope you've enjoyed this. Hope it's been beneficial for you. All things trumpet we're definitely interested in. Have a great day.